Berjaya Corp chairman Tan Sri Vincent Tan Yioun has divested 40 million shares or a 0.7% stake in the group to his son-in-law SM Faliq SM Nasimuddin for 10 million ringgit, which works out to 25 cents per share. SM Faliq, who is deputy group executive chairman of Naza Group, is married to Tan's daughter, Crisis Tan Sheik Ling. Stock exchange filings show that Crisis, who is also BCorp's non-executive director, acquired the shares in two tranches. The first comprising 34.52 million shares and the second consisting of 5.48 million shares through her spouse. Subsequent to the divestment, Tan is left with a 25.33% stake. The divestment seems to be part of a bid for the billionaire to pare down his shareholding in BCorp and pave the way for the group's potential acquisition of a financial institution. The Berjaya Group founder is aiming to reduce his shareholding to 19.6% to comply with the Financial Services Act 2013 should the acquisition materialise. The FSA does not allow any individual to own more than a 10% stake in a financial institution. Shares of BCorp closed half a cent or 1.7% higher at 30.5 cents on Friday, which gives the group a market capitalisation of 1.82 billion ringgit. The Naga Nasional announced that Treasury Secretary General Datuk Sri Asri Hamidon alias Hamidin has resigned as non-independent non-executive director of its board. Asri's alternate director Faisal alias Pisal Abdugani had also stepped down following Asri's resignation, which was effective January 5th, said TNB in a BOS filing. The latest boardroom changes in the national power provider came less than a week after the resignation of chairman and former Rompin MP Datuk Sri Hassan Arifin on January 1st. Asri was brought on in July 1st, 2020 as an appointed director by MOF Inc., the special shareholder of TNB. Last month, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim reportedly said there is an impending change of the Treasury Sec-Gen, calling it a normal course of action. Asri was appointed to the post in April 2020 under the then administration led by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, taking over from Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir after Ahmad Badri's contract had ended. It is reported that Asri is currently on leave and that a deputy is acting in his stead. Sigma Holdings made a strong debut on the ACE market of Bursa Malaysia today, opening at 81 cent, a 47% premium to its initial public offering price of 55 cent. It reached as high as 83 cent in early trade, but was unable to hold on to those gains, trading at an average of 70 cent for most of the day. It closed at 62 cent, which is still a 13% premium over its issue price. It was the second most actively traded stock on Friday, with over 221 million shares transacted. Group Managing Director Lucille Toh Siu-Lin says that Sigma has evolved from being a product-centric supplier supplying materials or goods to a packaging supply chain solutionist. She says the group is positive that this listing exercise will enhance Sigma's profile, helping it to grow and gain market share in existing and new markets. On Outlook, Teo says the group is confident of its prospects despite growing fears of a global recession. Her optimism is couched in the fact that Sigma only has a 2.5% share of the Malaysian paper packaging market, which affords the group more room to grow. On Friday, Rakuten Trade rated the group a buy with a target price of 80 cent. It expects Sigma to register net earnings of 22.9 million for FY23 and 27.3 million for FY24. Sigma successfully raised approximately 50.15 million from its IPO, where the bulk will be used to expand its operational facilities and purchase new machinery and equipment. Binasat Communications is eyeing double-digit top-line growth for its satellite internet broadband services as it aims to attract more customers from the maritime and oil and gas sectors. Executive Director cum CEO Zulamran Hamad said the maritime and oil and gas industries are increasingly adopting very small aperture terminal systems. He explains that this is another untapped market that Binasat is eyeing and that its 13 million ringgit investment in 2018 has now come into commercialization. Binasat has started working with the government sector to roll out satellite internet broadband services. It won contracts to set up a total of 275 satellite facilities for the Kelantan and Pahang state governments. According to Zulamran, he says this will help to push forward the digitalization efforts and narrow the digital divide in these areas that lack existing telco infrastructure. He adds that it will also help Binasat to build its track record and expand its services to other local state councils. Under the collaboration with Kelantan ICT Gateway and Pahang Go, Binasat will first set up 200 125 satellite facilities for Kelantan and 50 for Pahang. The group expects to complete the job for Pahang before end 2023 and within the first half of 2024 for Kelantan. Binasat's roles include the setting up of the satellite internet service, while the state governments will provide site lists and power supply to the equipment. VS Industry has allocated capital expenditure of 80 million for FY23, which is lower than the 150 million it earmarked for the year before, according to reports. In a statement it released after its 40th AGM, Managing Director Datuk Gan Sem Yam said that the group will remain steadfast and focused on growing its business despite elevated market uncertainties. He said that for its local operations, the order flow from customers continues to be satisfactory and it anticipates better contribution from its Indonesia ops. As such, Gan says VSI is cautiously optimistic on its outlook and that its FY23 performance will be satisfactory. According to VSI, in FY22, the group's total dividend per share amounted to 2 sen, representing a 45.8% payout. The group has a dividend policy of 40% payout of net profit.